Hey, what's up? Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the Feel a Step. I am your main host for today, Carl Batombakal, and with me today is my co-host and always the other co-host of this very beautiful channel. It's Nico Rocha. Nico, good evening.
What's up, Carl? Did you notice our setup right now? It's the best. Guys, this is gonna be our setup moving forward.
Oh
The
yeah.
first episode is only five people saw it, but that's the so it's a good thing that we tested our backup equipment for episode
Mm,
one. That's how it's gonna
yeah.
sound like if we don't have our equipment. But this is how it's going to be moving forward. Since of course the podcast has to have A plus audio more than video.
Yeah. At least, when worst comes to worst, we know we can still record, but ideally, let's not go there as much as we can.
Yeah, which is also a great transition to a player who should be going outside his podcast setup as well, since they're still in the middle of the season. They need him more than ever, but he's doing more podcasts, more than more than games being played. Maybe he's doing more podcasts than 30-point games that people expect him to have without a Joel Embiid on the court and sometimes a Tyrese Maxey. Who's this guy, Carl? Who's this guy we're gonna be talking about?
From the Philadelphia 76ers, it's your boy, Playoff P, Paul George.
Podcast P.
Oh, where do we even begin with this guy?
Yeah, man.
Well,
There's a lot. It's like
yeah,
we have a lot to talk about podcast P.
yeah. Well, as we all know, Paul George came to the Philadelphia 76ers this past season, off season, on a very, very beautiful number of 211 million USD for 4 years. Just for context, Paul George is now 37. And Daryl Morey of the 76ers Sixers decided to, hey, you know what? We have cap space. We have the money. Paul George is a name. I think he's still effective. Might as well.
Might as well. I mean, it's 34 right now, but what was it, a 4 year contract? It's gonna be a
Yeah, it's a
4 year contract.
four-year deal
My
with a
goodness, so
player option.
he'll be 37, 38 when it's all done. But already right now, which is really bad, he's already performing way below expectations. He's earning what, 49 million this year. This guy is
Yeah.
averaging 16.1 points, shooting 43% from the field, 36% from three, which is okay. 36%
Mm.
from three is alright. 82% from the free throw line. But for a 49 million player as a third option on a 20 and 34 team, bro, I mean, 49 million, you're expected to average at least 25, 7 and 7, 25, 6 and 6. But that has not happened yet. Well, that's far off what they expected from from what was a MVP candidate just a few years back with the OKC Thunder, remember?
Yeah, he was there with the Westbrook team, the one that gets sent home by Damian Lillard of the Portland Trailblazers. That was a good year for him, I would say actually. But judging what we're seeing now from Paul George, it's been a season, let's just call it that. I don't want to say it's a bad season yet because there's still a lot of basketball to play. And we believe in Paul George. We know he can still bounce back from this. But then when you look at the stats, the best plus minus that this guy has had this season is at plus 22 in a 29-point win over the Brooklyn Nets. Paul George scored 17 points, 4 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals, and then 2 turnovers in 28 minutes. So it's a good win. It's a good stat line for Paul George. That's his best quote unquote stat line for the year based on the plus minus at least. But then at the same time, this is Paul George. So you're supposed to be expecting a lot more from him.
A lot
You're
more.
expecting him to do this every single time. You want to see him succeed. But then at the same time, he's kind of hard to cheer for, I would say.
Actually, yeah. It's really
You know,
hard to
with the
cheer for this year.
dude, the podcast has been a distraction for Paul George, I would honestly say. And it's a good podcast. I watch it from time to time.
Yeah, but
But
he's
then,
not supposed to be doing it during a season wherein a team is looking for a leader that they can rely upon.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
with that kind of salary, maybe if you're a 20 mil player, maybe 2022, dude, even Draymond gets some flack for his podcast just because of being Draymond, and at the same time, it's
yeah.
the expectations that come with the Warriors, right? But Paul George came into Philadelphia with expectations. That's why
Yes.
all this hate is warranted.
Yeah. It definitely is. It's not even his fault, I would say. For the at the start, it wasn't entirely his fault because if you're a player like Paul George, who's an all-star and a superstar for the league, I would take that money. That's 211 million, dude. If I was offered that
Yeah, of course
as
you do. You're
some
gonna
guy,
take it.
I would take it. What more an all-star like Paul George who's like in the twilight of his career. So it's understandable that he would take it, but as a fan, from a fan's perspective, it's kind of hard not to feel some type of way that Paul George signed to my team. I expect him to produce numbers, and he's only played 35 games this season out of what?
Yeah, or 35,
54.
54. Yeah, yeah, 35 out of
Dude, it's
54.
weird. Like I could have signed someone else this offseason. For just for context, let's take a look at the spot rack or the contracts for the league this year, which is
Yeah.
weird because we're looking at Paul George, who is currently the 20th in the league in terms of total value for his contract at 211 million. This guy is making more than Jamal Murray,
Okay.
his own
Who
teammate Tyrese Maxey,
and
LaMelo
Maxi
Ball of
just
the
got signed,
Charlotte
right?
Hornets.
Maxi
Yeah,
just
he
got
did.
signed. Yeah, yeah.
He did. To a 5-year deal if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And then you have Desmond Bain. He's making more than Bain, Garland, Zion, Ja Morant, Lowry Markkanen, and even freaking KD of the Phoenix Suns. He's making more than them.
You're making more than Kevin Durant. For some names are warranted that like no, Zion's posting better numbers than podcast P.
And he's been out for
Right?
most of the
Even though
season.
that even though he's been out with an injury, but when he's there, he's getting you Zion numbers. But it's a whole podcast in itself about
Oh
Zion
yeah,
Williamson's
definitely.
health.
For sure.
So that's a nice stat line, bro. Like that's a nice uh behind the scenes on how bad that contract was. But nobody ever said that Daryl Morey's decision to get Paul George was horrible one, right? Like I think in the start, maybe there's like one or two people, but most of us were like, "Wow, that's a big three. That's a Embiid, Paul George, the wing to finally help out. That's another 20 plus point per game scorer. Tyrese Maxey at the point. They complement each other on paper well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you had Jared McCain in the early
Who's
part of the
also a
season who
revelation.
exploded onto the
He's
scene.
a
So
revelation.
like wow, oh my god. The TikTokers making, big points and big stat lines all over the game. But it's frustrating. I really understand the Philadelphia 76ers organization. They've been trusting the process since 2013, 2014.
Yeah, yeah. Correct, yeah. It started with the Jaleel Okafor days, right? Was it Jaleel Okafor days?
Yeah, it had to be. So that was around the time what
I think
Game of
the
Thrones
process
was.
started when they traded Drew Holiday, and that
Mm-hmm.
kick started the whole Netherlands. Now, well, here we go, and that's the one.
Yeah, dude, it was that
That
time.
was the
Like
one. That was the one when they traded
yeah, it
Drew. That
was. It
signaled
was.
it
I think it was 2011, I think around that time,
even
2010.
earlier.
Well, the Evan Turner Sixers, yes.
Yeah, no, Evan Turner. Yeah, Evan Turner Sixers. So I'm checking now. Yeah, you're right. It started
Yeah,
the 20. Well, Drew was still with the Sixers 2012 to 2013.
had to
So
be that time.
2013. You're right. It was 2013.
So it had to be that time. And I get it. It's been a process and I understand because the draft lottery it made sense for the Sixers at the time because there was all of this generational talent coming through the years, through coming through the league in the next 5 years, and but one of those lottery picks were bound to hit. I mean, they went for Jalil, they went for Nerlens Noel, my personal favorite center. Then they went for Joel. So the Joel pick, I wasn't mad at it. I understood why. But then they brought in Ben Simmons, who's a whole other podcast topic in itself. Who's now with I think now he's with the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
He is with the Clippers now, so that's a whole other topic. So let's not touch that. Let's just mention him being with the Sixers at the time. But now they've been trusting the process for the better part of 10 years. And Nico, I am not confident that the process is going anywhere.
Same.
Not at
It's
all.
I think they have reached a point wherein is it time to trade Joel Embiid? Do we have that? Is it time to give the keys to Maxi and Jared McCain? I
Oh,
don't
that's a
think we're
good
prepared to
question.
have that
That's a really good
conversation
question.
yet. I mean, giving the keys to Jared McCain just yet. I mean, we're gonna get flamed by Philly fans. Actually, it's a good thing for Philly fans that they won the Super Bowl. You just imagine how miserable they would be
Oh yeah.
thinking, "Oh yeah, we still have the Sixers."
All right, then we have Paul George on our team. Paul George so he's just getting slandered tonight.
Do you know that a key stat that I saw here was that you know how Tobias Harris was getting flamed all
Oh
throughout
yeah.
by Philly fans last year. So
Yeah.
let me share you with this. He averaged 17 points. This is just last season. 7 rebounds, 3 assists per game. Shot 49, 35, and 88. Those are his splits. Paul George this season, 16, 5, and 4. 43, 36, 82. So is it still warranted? I mean, Philly fans flamed Tobias Harris. And what was his contract, right? What was his contract with Philly,
Oh yeah, they were mad at him for that. They were
right?
really mad at him for that.
How people call him the swindler. That's why he's with the Pistons right now,
Yeah.
thinking that he
Oh yeah.
swindled yet another team. But he's been really consistent, Tobias Harris, at least to what he can. You know what you're gonna get from Tobias Harris. I think Philly fans just wanted more from him.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they moved on Jimmy Butler to get to, keep Tobias Harris. And then they moved him. And then they got Paul George. So it's been a weird regression. They were supposed to progress, I would say. They were aiming for progression when they moved when they didn't re-sign Jimmy to get Tobias. And then when they traded Tobias, they opened up some cap space to get Paul George at 34, who's been injured for what? He's been averaging how many games the past 2 seasons with the Clippers? Past three. It's been what? I would say a healthy 55, 65 games, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, somewhere around that range. Yeah.
That's not
But
that's not
initially,
mass
though,
money though.
I understood where they were coming from. They still had hope that okay, maybe we'll be able to fix Paul George. Maybe we'll be able to get the best version of Paul George. But then he hasn't really fallen off with the Clippers back then. It's just more of it was just gradually declining, but it wasn't big enough for you to say he didn't deserve that contract. I don't know. Do you remember what what people were talking about when that was offered to Paul George? It was mostly a positive one, right? Are you on Twitter or do you follow the conversations?
The funny thing is, I was on Reddit during that time. I
Okay,
was
great.
following
Okay,
the whole thing on Reddit.
what did you see?
Dude, people were mad at Daryl
Oh,
Morey
they
for
were
that.
mad. They were
Dude,
mad. They were already
at least
mad.
the people on Reddit, ah.
Okay,
I
so
can't say
from
for
what
the
I've
people on
seen
Twitter.
on
Yeah,
Facebook
Twitter.
and others, they were like, okay, this is a risky move, but we get it. Like it was more of that. That was the sentiment on Facebook at least, and some on Twitter. But Reddit is I feel like is the perfect platform because that's where the true diehard fans are.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I've been in Reddit since 2013. And I've seen the dark side and the good side of Reddit, especially on the RNBA subreddit. I've seen the
And
changes and everything. But then when the Paul George deals supposedly came about, when Maury and the Sixers were offering him this maximum deal for 4 years and 211 million, people were mad, especially the Clippers fans. They were mad for the Sixers fans because they were getting a lemon in Paul George. That was the word that was being used
a
in
lemon.
our
Okay.
NBA. A lemon meaning it looks good on the outside. It looks like a good signing, but you're getting nothing.
You're getting nothing. So Clippers fans are yeah, duh, they would know because they had him for 5 years. How
Oh
many?
yeah. 2020, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. five
Yeah.
years. five
Yeah.
years. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, five.
They were super mad, dude. Like not even just the Clippers fans, even the OKC fans were sad for Sixers fans at the time. So they're like, Yeah, it's a bad deal. That was enough. That was like, no, 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 no. That does not look good at all.
You know, what I noticed, Carl, is that one of the clearest signs that a star has already faded is it when he's not consistent anymore. Right? So I would check here the game logs of Paul George right now. Basketball Reference is the best because you got to see everything here. Wherein it's free because there are other tools, right? Carl, remember we had to pay
Yep.
for a tool before where it's really well defined. Like for example, these five on the floor. This is how it is. That's what I love about the NBA. Anyway,
Shout out cleaning the glass.
yeah. Cleaning the glass. Yeah, but here for Paul George. So this is a sign. This is a clear sign that the veteran just doesn't have it anymore because of their poor play or rather inconsistent play. So here, checking November, he had 29 points. November 12 against the Knicks, and then 3 weeks after, he scores 29. Remember the dates. 2 weeks after, it's against the Hornets, 12, December 16, 33 points. Followed by a few days later after that, he only have 5 points against the same team. And then another 3 weeks gone by, 30 points against the Kings, January 1. And then January 15, 14 days, 2 weeks again, 26 points. But everything in between is either single digits or in the 14 to 16 range. So he, in the first year, this is going to be a contract that's more untradeable than the Bradley Beal one, to be honest. And sorry to your sons. Guys, Carl is a Suns fan, so he would understand when it comes to. He knows what it means when we're talking about bad contracts. Beal
Such
or
a
Paul
painful
George?
fandom. Dude, at this point, I would take Beal. At
At this
and here's
point,
why. And here's why. Because Bradley Beal, at the very least, even when the team is down 10 or 15, you would see him hustling down the floor and he would be diving for the ball.
okay.
Paul
So you
George will
see
not
the
do that.
like,
He never did that. He rarely did that. He did maybe in Indiana,
oh
maybe
yeah,
with
that's
the
how he got
Thunder.
known for Indiana, right? It's a spunk,
Exactly.
that kind of
Yeah,
who's this guy? Who's this 3 and D guy?
yeah. He was running up and down the court, but now I'm happy. I have 211 million. Why put effort in? It's
Nah,
disappointing. It's
yeah,
disappointing.
it's counterproductive. It's a complete opposite of what you expect. Like when a player gets signed to a huge deal, you would think, okay, they're gonna give a lot more considering that. But it's the opposite for him. He's secured. He wants to have his brand online. So
He got his generational wealth, dude. He's fine.
he has generational wealth. So yeah, that's it for Paul George. I think we're just airing out our grievances for like the past 20 minutes on Paul George.
Yeah, I think we just feel bad for Sixers, and we also feel bad just in general as fans.
Yeah, man, because I want to root for Philly, the Sixers, considering that you want the process to finally end. You want to close the loop, right? In a way, because you see that they're actually trying. Their management is trying. But sometimes you just fall into, what do you call this? You just get into situations that just happen, which is
Yeah,
what happens in basketball in the NBA. Like Joel Embiid, we just one leg now. I don't know how long Embiid will last, bro. I think Embiid is 2 3 years max in the NBA, and then I think he should retire.
yeah,
It's there's too much damage on his legs. I feel like it might be a Greg Oden situation, which is just much more delayed.
yeah. It's a degenerative knee condition. That's what I've been hearing. So, which is like the Kawhi
Not
Leonard
good to
thing.
hear for a 7'1" 7'2" guy.
Yep.
And he's a heavy guy.
Yeah.
He's not real
He's not slimming
thin.
down. He's not
Yeah, he's
slimming
not
down.
slipping down. What's the best way there? Is it for you? Is the best way to counter that one? You're not a doctor, right? But have you read anything wherein pe- about the injury that he needs to slim down in order to lessen the load on his legs? Right?
Well,
Is it?
I mean, funny thing, I'm not a doctor, but like I have doctor friends who are big fans of the NBA,
Uh-uh.
and all of them are saying like it's either Joel Embiid becomes a set shooter like Steve Novak.
Okay.
Shout out Steve Novak. Either he goes the Steve Novak route or he slims down and he doesn't play in the post anymore. Go full Dirk. That's it.
Oh, so he cannot do his usual Embiid
Yep.
driving and
Yep.
falling down on the ground. I
That's
just feel
over.
like there are times when he falls to the ground. I feel like he just really can't control his body anymore.
Yeah, he just flops sometimes, trying to sell the call, and I get it, but at the same time, nah, that era's over, dude. Like it was fun while it lasted, but you know, health and all that.
Yeah, this is for Paul George.
Anyways, let's go to greener pastures. It's the All-Star break, Nico. We have a few days of rest, at least for the players and for a lot of other people and the team. So now we're gonna look at the teams that we think are going to make a splash heading into the postseason, or at least are going to potentially make the play-in at
Mm-hmm.
the very least. So Nico, who are you expecting, at least in the East?
Oh, we're gonna start with the East first.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
for the East, it's really hard, bro. The East to make it out of the play. So the play-in is 9 versus 10, right? 9 versus 10 and
7-8.
7-8. Feel like the Heat will go through, and then I feel like the Hawks could upset the Magic.
Ooh,
You know when the Hawks play really well. The Hawks play up to the standard of their opponent. So I
that's
noticed
true.
that. So whenever they face Boston, right, they play so well.
That's actually true.
You would think that they're a top contender with the way they're playing against Boston, and then they face a low tier team, and then they play like a low tier team, which is odd, right? How there are some teams that they can compete with the best of them and even get multiple wins.
Oh yeah, it's actually weird how the Hawks are. Like they just traded a lot of pieces.
Bogdan and DeAndre
They
Hunter, right?
traded Bogey and DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, they traded their depth pieces for extra depth pieces and Georges Niang. The Georges Niang pickup I like actually for them. He's been a baller with the Cleveland Cavaliers this season, and but it was a confusing move because they still have Onyeka Okongwu and they still have Clint Capella on the same team. They're not committing to either of them this season.
You feel like they're not gonna retain Onyeka, or
Really?
there's no word yet. Do you feel? I'm asking if you feel like they're not gonna retain. I feel like they should retain him more than Capella.
Definitely. But the Hawks? Now, if I'm the Hawks right now, I'm thinking if I was in the Hawks position and seeing it in their eyes, I'm kind of expecting them to keep Clint and then they're suddenly gonna trade Onyeka just because. Trae Young trade to the Lakers. Let's go.
They're young to the Lakers. You know those what do you call this? Those Photoshop edits.
Oh yeah.
And they got the biggest fish because remember it was Luke, not Luke. Well, Luca was there, but there was a Trey Young one. There was a
Mm-mm.
all the past the Kevin Durant one.
Yeah.
They
Well,
got the
they even had
biggest
the Ben
fish.
Simmons one.
Oh yeah, when he was still relevant, right? Remember
Yeah,
when
dude.
he was
Yeah,
like
dude.
second in Defensive Player of the Year voting? Oh, what a time! That was a great Ben
Oh my
Simmons one.
God.
I think this was his best year, right? When he was second, and then it all
Oh
went
yeah.
downhill from there.
Oh, definitely. Super downhill. Crash course. Crash and burn.
Anyway, for you, is it the Hawks as a surprise team? I just feel like
Like the
they lost by
Hawks,
one
they
a while ago against the Knicks, right?
Oh
It was
yeah,
an over. That was a really
dude, I
good game.
watched that. That was a good game. I loved it. I
They
loved
were
that game
even
earlier.
leading at one point in overtime, early in overtime though. But then the Knicks. It's always whenever Trae Young goes up against the Knicks, it's always a classic, right?
Oh yeah, he hates the Knicks, dude. I understand why, but I'm like the Knicks are my East team, so like I understand why Trey Young hates the Knicks, but I don't think they're making the playoffs. I think it
Oh,
might
you feel
even
like
be.
okay?
I feel like they're missing out. For some reason, I think they're gonna choke it to the Orlando Magic,
Okay,
and then the Chicago Bulls. It's just I'm throwing it in the air. I'ma call it. I'ma call it first. The Chicago Bulls are making the playoffs.
huh? The
I'm
Chicago
calling,
Bulls.
dude. They're gonna make this. I promise you, they will.
Who's gonna be leading them? Who's gonna be leading the Chicago Bulls?
Dude, they got Lonzo. They got Matas Buzelis. Bro,
Lonzo.
come
Dude, Matas
on.
is playing really well, right?
I know. That's why.
Matas, yeah. He's been
Yeah, he's gonna
buried
show up.
in the bench all throughout, and then when they traded Zach Levine, time to go all in, boys.
Yeah, he's gonna be a revelation. And the Bulls are trying to tank, but tank with what? They kept Lonzo through the deadline. Why tank now? They
Damn. All
re-signed
right.
Lonzo.
2
Even.
years, right? Is a really good
Yeah,
contract.
2 years. I think 20. Tradable, super tradable contract.
Good for Matas Bozelis though, like rookie cards for those who are trying to cash in, because Matas
Hell yeah.
was moving in and out of the G League at one point. Remember?
Yeah, in the early part, I think the first 15 games,
Yeah, there you
he
go.
was
Early
in and
part.
out.
It's like, ooh. And then you would see him, if you just followed the Bulls, he would be posting 16 and 8, 20 and something. So, I mean, even though the Bulls are in a 4 game losing streak, which is unfortunate, at
Yeah,
least
I
you
think
get
they're
to
gonna
see
make
their
it.
young guys play. Matas is what, averaging 25 to 28 minutes a game?
Yeah.
It's also so funny how Vucevic just stands out, right? Like a sore thumb.
Yeah, but dude, he's been like a monster this year.
Yeah, exactly. But
It's, I mean, they're supposed to be worse, but Vucevic has been playing as much games as he can, which is weird
actually, yeah.
because if you're the Bulls, you're supposed to be tanking. You would have moved Lonzo, you would have moved Vooch, but Vooch is still there posting double doubles every day just because he can. 30-point double double sometimes,
I think
but
Cooper Flag looks good in red.
he's going to the Wizards, dude. I'm just joking.
If he could, he definitely could land with the Wizards. Dude, the
No.
Wizards really don't look like. Well, actually, I like Bilal. I don't like Alex. Alex is just alright. He got way
Yeah.
better from his summer league days. Remember when people call him, "Oh, this guy's a bust,"
Oh yeah,
with
dude, they
how
hated
horrible
them,
his games
Alex.
were.
Oh yeah, they hated Alex so bad. But now he's been serviceable, I would
He's
say.
really serviceable.
He
I'm
just
just
got
saying
he
that.
just got back though. He just got back.
Yeah, but I remember he was being compared to Anthony Bennett just because of summer league games. Because
Nah,
Anthony
that's
Bennett for me is
BS, dude.
the worst number one pick, right? Over Kwame
Bro,
Brown. Are we aligned there? I think we are, right?
bro, Kwame was serviceable in the
Yeah,
right
Kwame.
situations.
Yeah,
It's just
Anthony
it's
Bennett
just
was, here are the keys.
he
He
was
could handle
worse.
the keys. How do I shoot a basketball? How do
He
I?
just hated himself. It's so
Anyway,
weird.
yeah, that's for my East. It's the
Yeah.
Hawks. Who's
I'm
your?
going
Oh yeah, you're with the
I'm
Bulls,
going
right?
with the Bulls
Okay,
and the
okay.
Orlando Magic. Come on, baby.
You're two. Those are the
Oh
two
yeah.
teams that will be fighting at the 7 and 8 spot.
Yep, they're gonna make it into the playoffs itself. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, for me it's Hawks and Orlando, 7 and 8 range.
Okay, that makes sense.
For the West, for me, man, I feel like it's. I have the Warriors here. I'm just thinking of the
Mhm.
second team. For me, it's the Warriors gonna climb. They're number 10 right now, but I feel like the Warriors can climb up to 7 when it's all said and done. And then the Mavericks holding on at 8. I'm gonna stick with this one. So the Warriors will move to 7. The Mavs
Really?
at 8. But the Wolves will go down to 9.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I really don't
Why
believe
though?
in
Why
Julius
though?
Randle. I really don't believe in Julius Randle. Well, I believe that the Mavs, even though they're a bit, they're really depleted. I feel like a Kyrie, uh, Clay, all the other guys as vets with a young Max Christie, who people continue to downplay or. I mean, casuals don't know who Max Christie is, but Max Christie has been averaging, it's like 15, 5 and 5 in the 5-6 games with the Mavericks ever since he got there. But they really needed the front court. That's why I'm saying at 8. Because I think AD will be back in a month, right? At best,
At best, just a month. They said
a
they
month
only
at
said a
best.
few weeks. They only said a
Yeah, so
few
let's just
weeks.
say a
So
month. Let's just say four
yeah, let's
weeks.
say a month. Yeah.
So for me, Warriors is a bias, and I feel like with Jimmy Butler there, it's more of a more rejuvenated Warriors, and the Warriors played well against the Houston Rockets a while ago, who are number
Mm.
4 in the West. So you can say that there's still something there. They have something to work with. It's just a matter of, is it enough though? Is it enough? Or is this just like a temporary band-aid solution? Well, let's see. I mean, at least they're doing something. I mean, we talked
I
about this in
mean,
a previous podcast. We talked about this in full
you
detail.
tell me, dude. He signed like a 2 year 121. What do you think?
At-
Jimmy B.
well, I like what I'm seeing so far. At least he's not like Paul George. So, where he's doing more podcasts than anything productive in the basketball court. So, I'll I'll take I'll take the Jimmy experience for now. I mean, I'll give him a year, and then
Yeah.
maybe I can give a verdict. Now, this is a really good one.
Oh yeah, actually, that over the Kings,
Yeah,
Zach
over the
Levine
King.
and Demar Sabonis.
That doesn't work
Really,
for me. That doesn't work.
really,
Demar and Zach, we saw that in Chicago already.
but no Sabonis though.
Vooch was there. Vooch was there, right? He's just like he's
It's the same setup.
Sabonis is way better. Sabonis is way better. But I'm just saying that those three pieces just don't work for me. And
I mean,
I don't know, I just don't believe in the Kings this year. I was a fan of Light the Beam before, but now it just looks like they without who's their coach again? That just got fired. Mike Brown.
um,
Mike Brown.
Mike
Sorry,
Brown,
Mike
yeah,
Brown.
yeah, last year.
Without Mike Brown, I don't think they're gonna get through the playoffs this year. At least be in the 7, 8 spots.
I mean that kind of makes sense. I mean when you look at it, seventh through 10 play in teams. So I have
Interesting
I
for
also
the West, right?
I actually kind of have the Dallas Mavericks dropping. I do think they're dropping out. So that gives the Suns us that moves the Sun up to 10. The Wolves, they're gonna make it to the play-in. That they're gonna make it.
So
The Warriors are
you're
definitely gonna make it, I'm pretty sure.
okay.
So it's Minnesota, Golden State, the bum ass Phoenix Suns because the team sucks right now. Oh
You
my
guys
god.
traded
Dude, so much
Nurkic.
terrible basketball. Oh my god. So frustrating. Number 10. The number 10, I'm partially torn between either the Spurs or the Kings. I'm somehow torn between the Spurs or the Kings, at least for number 10. Because the Spurs, I'm expecting them to make a surge in the latter half of the season after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Because they're what, 23, 29 at number 12. I think they can make it. I think this will be the season where a losing team on the Western Conference is gonna make the play-in, which we haven't seen in a while. Because as
It's
we know,
always
the
been an
West is a
East thing.
bloodbath.
Yeah, it's always an
Yeah, dude.
Eastern
Yeah.
Conference thing.
So which is why I'm expecting the Spurs to possibly make a push for it. Because if the Suns don't make it, damn, who am I gonna choose between these fools?
What am I gonna choose between these fools?
I'm gonna go for sige, let's just say the Suns don't make it. I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves making it to the playoffs.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna choose yeah, out of love for Steph, I'm gonna go with the Golden State Warriors. If the Suns don't make it, which is like 60% at this point, because you know everyone's injured. So let's go with Minnesota and the Golden State Warriors, only because I have so much love for Anthony Edwards, man. It's hard not to love that
Actually.
guy.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards is really likable for sure.
They're gonna make it. I think they can.
Okay, so it's Warriors Suns?
No, Warriors Timberwolves. I'm
Warriors Timber
eliminating my own Suns,
Oh, so
dude.
sorry. Warriors Timberwolves. Okay.
Yeah, I don't trust my team right now. I love my Suns. I just got shoes custom for the Suns. I hate my team so much, dude. Why am I even a fan of this team? I hate everything.
Ball is starting, right? That's so like, oh, you know that you're in a dangerous spot when Ball is playing 35
Dude,
minutes,
Ball got a double with 4 blocks. What the hell?
right?
18 points and
But
16?
dude, look at that bench though. Connor Gillespie,
Colin Gillespie's good.
Tai Washington,
Serviceable.
Mason, the corpse of Mason Plumlee.
Hey
Or I
man, that
like
was
Ryan Dunn.
starting.
I'm a big fan of Ryan Dunn though, as
Oh
a
yeah.
rookie. Well, or how about you? Do you like Ryan Dunn?
Dude, I was hard during the trade deadline. I was about to snap because there were rumors that the Suns were considering moving Ryan Dunn and Bradley Beal to the Heat
For
for
who? Jimmy
Jimmy.
Butler?
Yeah, dude, I was like, nah, 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 nah. If they traded Ryan Dunn, I would have been heartbroken. Only because Ryan Dunn is one of the best rookies this year. He could have been in contention for rookie of the year, I would say. But he had that stretch where he missed, I think, 6 games or 4 games
Yeah.
with an ankle issue. So yeah, it really stunted his growth this year. But he's been serviceable. He's been really, really good, especially next to like Tyus Tyus Jones. Yeah, he's been good with Tyus actually.
Yeah, the Tyus Jones one has always been. I like the Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones is an underrated point guard.
Oh yeah,
Starter, maybe not. Nah.
just don't ask him to defend though.
Oh yeah,
He
that's his main
cannot
weakness.
defend anything at all. Oh my god.
So that's it. That's our. Those are our two play-in teams that we think, or rather, those are two teams from the West and the East who we think could land the 7 and 8 spot to
Mm,
complete the what do you call this? The top 8 per conference.
yep. So Nigo, how do you feel about this whole thing? Are you confident in your picks at the very least?
I want to be confident because I want the Warriors to make it because
Oh yeah.
they're still fun to watch. They're still really fun to watch. It's just more of just need everyone to be healthy. Just get that chemistry with Jimmy Butler, and then I think we could make a push to go beyond the play-in tournament because we keep dropping out of those tournaments recently.
Yeah. Well, I understand, man. At least your team's in a better situation than mine. And on that note, let's close this episode, man. I'm done with this. I feel so bad about my team. I hate everything, man. All right, so
Well, we'll
that's
see you
been
guys. We'll see you
yeah.
guys for the All Star
Oh
break. So
yeah.
maybe
Oh yeah.
we'll have a All-Star episode when maybe something noteworthy depends. Maybe if we see a great slam dunk contest.
Oh yeah. I hope so.
It's been a while. The last one was Zach Levine, Aaron Gordon. That was the last time I
Yep.
enjoyed a slam dunk contest.
We all did. All right, so that's it for us. It's been a good episode, man. Good talking. Paul George, we love you, but we kind of hate you in a way. The East and the West is going insane. It's All Star break, baby. Let's enjoy. Let's have a good season, y'all. Good night.
Peace, guys.